Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Mario Kart 64. Last time we made our way through our third Grand Prix here in Mario Kart 64 and raced through all of the Star Cup with our good, yet very prone to crashing the game friend, Wario. Needless to say, I don't think I want my game crashing anymore, so we're gonna probably want to use someone else for the final cup here in Mario Kart 64. And it's one of my favorite characters in the entire Mario franchise. It's your boy, Luigi. We got ourselves one final map select here, the Special Cup, having our last 4 tracks in the whole game. Let's go ahead and get this final cup started. Our first track here in the Special Cup is DK's Jungle Parkway. This track is very unique as it has a special attribute to it, and that is that anytime you're in the grass, yeah, you just get these spiky fruit, which I have to assume look like durians, because to me that's just a durian. Anytime you're in the grass, you just get thrown back into the track as a whole, which is an interesting idea they only ever do on this one course in the whole game. As you can see, me missing that turn in the very beginning to take a ramp, yeah, that put me from 1st place to 8th place. That's not great, but I can use this opportunity to farm items here in the back. So I got the shock, and I'm going to use that right away here. And it gives me a golden mushroom as my next item, which I can't really use because I fell in the water, but you know what, that's fine. Now I'll use it. So the golden mushroom here is an unlimited use of the mushroom item, or at least a timed use of it, as it doesn't last forever. And I gotta be honest, the golden mushroom, it's a cool item, but it's one of the worst items in Mario Kart 64. It doesn't really do all that much, as you can see, compared to the speed of Donkey Kong. I'm barely keeping up using golden mushrooms. It just functions very differently in this game, and I feel like it's probably the worst it's ever been, being in this specific game. And I got 3 of them in a row, like, hello? Why? As you can see, every time on my kilometer an hour speedometer here, you can see the needle going down ever so slightly every time I use the golden mushroom to start. So you don't want to always spam the golden mushroom because of this attribute. So that already makes it kind of weird to use. But then just in general, mushrooms in Mario Kart 64 aren't really give you that much of a speed boost compared to how they work in later games. Mushrooms are still really powerful and you definitely want to use them at the right times, but I do feel like later Mario Kart games got better mushroom powers, which means the golden mushroom as a whole just works better overall. And man, my red shells are doing literally nothing right now, but I guess it didn't matter because Wario hit a random banana peel just in the middle of the floor, so that works for me. But now we can go ahead and just keep this pace and hopefully keep it up to the finish line and take that 1st place victory. Because Luigi's had a pretty bad start here for this race. He's done a lot wrong, and we kind of want to actually win every race if possible so we can get ourselves a gold trophy instead of just being in the back of the pack at all given times. But thankfully that is not going to happen, as we are at the final turn here in DK Jungle Parkway, and we secure that victory. Fun fact about this course, it does make a return in Mario Kart Wii, but that attribute of where you're having fruit thrown at you when you're in the grass, that's exclusive to this game, Mario Kart 64. As in the retro recreation course in Mario Kart Wii, that gimmick doesn't exist there in that game. So, in a way, this track actually plays a little bit better, but also a little bit worse in Mario Kart Wii. Just depends on how much you liked having, random fruit thrown at you when you're in the grass. We took 1st place there on our very first course in the Special Cup, and now it's time to move on to our next course here, Yoshi Valley. And yeah, this course is kind of a weird one, because look at the overall standings to start the race. It's just a bunch of question marks. That is because this is probably the most open-ended course in the entire game, as it's just one giant maze. So because of that, the game can't really track properly who is where at any given time, so it just keeps it a mystery until you beat the course with all 3 laps completed. Even if we look at the overall map standings here, everyone is a question mark moving around on the grid view, so we don't know who is who at this point. I mean, we can tell we're the first place because we're the only ones in the front of the pack, but everyone else is a mystery. I can tell 8th place there used the shock, which, thanks buddy, I appreciate it. Thankfully though, we're far enough ahead that it doesn't really matter, and in that case I just kind of wasted some time because I got put in the grass. Not really that big of a deal. This is the path I like taking here on Yoshi Valley. I like taking the very, very narrow path and going to the far left of the course because it is the shortest route overall. And then from here, it's a pretty straight line to victory. Okay, nice fib. I actually couldn't tell which was which. That was a really good fib placement. And I think that was from the AI. It might have been me. Sometimes I don't even remember where I put my own items, and that's saying a lot. Man, getting nothing but green shells right now. It's not really that great. I want trap items and not greens. Be nice to have at least a banana peel. And where did that shell come from? I swear, sometimes shells just kind of appear out of nowhere. I really don't know who throws them when. But the AI is definitely the ones putting those down, and it is impressive, but also confusing anytime I see one just in the middle of the track. Since this is our final lap, I'm going to lay down some traps here and there, any place I see fit. This seems like a lot of banana peels here. Don't mind if I join it. And I got a mushroom here to end it. Perfect. I'll actually keep this mushroom for the final turn, because I can use it to take a little bit of a shortcut off the grass. Gotta be careful of this giant Yoshi egg in the middle, because that can crush you, and that will slow you down. As we saw with one of the racers there, it looked like Mario got crushed. But let's go ahead and take this mushroom here into the grass and secure that first place victory. And we can now see who placed where at the very end. So Toad, Peach, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Wario, Yoshi, and then Mario was our overall order. We couldn't tell what that order was until finishing the race, making it a big old mystery here. But that is it for this course. That's 2 races down in the Special Cup, 2 more to go. Let's go ahead and move on to our 3rd race here in this overall Grand Prix. Our 3rd course here is Banshee Boardwalk. This is a very dark course because it's supposed to take place at night, but also it's kind of the sequel style course to the Ghost courses, which very convenient time for me to get the Boo item. This is a spiritual successor essentially to the Ghost courses from Super Mario Kart, which was the very first Mario Kart game. So instead of a Ghost Valley course, we got Banshee Boardwalk here, which is the same idea in really all practice, but just a little bit more of a different aesthetic. Nice. Good going, Yoshi. Idiot. Trying to take a little bit of a shortcut there. It didn't really work out, but honestly, that might have been for the better because now I got myself one of the strongest items here in Mario Kart 64, the blue shell. This shell, it could have been one of the most powerful items in the game. It just decided not to work today. Great. I love blue shells when they hit the wall. They work very similar to red shells, where they have an arc when you first throw them, and I thought I lined that up good enough, but I guess not. Thankfully, we have a redemption arc here. Go, my blue shell. Excuse me? What? Okay, I guess we sandwiched each other. Nice. As we were trying to talk about there, the blue shell travels very similar to a red shell, where it will go down a straight line and then home in on the first place player and target them specifically. It can hit other players along the ground, so it is a very, very powerful item regardless to use. And there's no way of blocking the blue shell in Mario Kart 64. So if you're in first place, there's nothing you can really do to avoid the blue shell. You just have to deal with it. And that sucks. So hopefully you have things like mushrooms to get you back up and running if you are attacked by a blue shell, because there's nothing you can do to avoid that attack here in Mario Kart 64. Speaking of mushrooms, I got some, but I don't think this is going to be enough because this is a massive gap. I do need more power items like now with things like a shock or maybe a star or not a blue shell, but I'm just getting things like red shells, which aren't really helping me, and that's not great. So this one, unfortunately, we're not going to take first place in overall, but if we play our cards right, I can at least get a 4th place, which we do need to even continue. And we got 3rd. Okay, we'll take 3rd. That is fine. If we got 5th, I would have had to redo this entire race, and I don't want to redo the entire race. This does feel fitting, though, that Luigi gets destroyed by every single racer, because he always seems to have the worst luck in Mario games, just period. So I'm not really surprised that he had a hard time here on the Banshee Boardwalk. So I'm going to get 3 points for that race, but that still puts me leagues ahead of everyone else. And at this point, doing the math in my head, even if I get 1 point from 4th place, and then Peach takes it in 1st place with 9 points, yeah, it's going to be close, but I can still easily win this. So let's go ahead and move on to our final race here in the Special Cup, which is none other than Rainbow Road. The most iconic track in all of Mario Kart history. And I don't just mean the concept of Rainbow Road, I mean this Rainbow Road in particular. N64's Rainbow Road is gotta be one of the most popular courses in Mario Kart history. You have chain chomps running on the ground, which can easily attack the player. A very, very colorful road for you to drive on, with, thankfully, nice guardrails so you don't fall off on this one. You got character portraits in the background from all the different racers here in Mario Kart 64, and even a mushroom, just to signify one of the items you can get. You got a star in the middle, with some nice character. You got a boo there in the distance. It's just a very, very nice looking course with one of the best themes in the game as a whole. My only major complaint about this course, and it makes sense as a good complaint because developers even realized this going into Mario Kart 8 when they brought this course back, Rainbow Road's a little too long. Being a 3-lap track with a lot of ground to cover, and if you fall off like I just did there from a very terrible thrown green shell by yours truly, it takes a very long time for you to fall down, takes you a very long time to complete a lap, and there's 3 of these in total, so this course can last almost 5 minutes. This is essentially Wario Stadium 2.0 when it comes to its overall length. And there really aren't any shortcuts you can take on this course outside of one, and it's in the very beginning. There is a shortcut you can take with a well-placed jump that you can go from the very beginning of the course to that first loop you see on the map. So it is a very, very hard shortcut to take, but if you can take it, it saves a lot of time overall. But we are not going to be going for that shortcut. We're going to be racing this track normally because it is pretty difficult. Maybe we can go for it once because I got the mushroom. I'm going to try it once. Why not? Oh, I think we got it. Yo, let's go. Shortcut achieved, baby. Luigi taking those ultra shortcuts. He's on world record pace. About ready to set his new PB and submit this to the speedrun leaderboards. Let's go. Although I can never really actually do that because this game is very competitive and it has a lot of very, very difficult shortcuts that I can't even grasp as a player of Mario Kart 64. I'm gonna be honest, I really enjoyed this game. It's a game I have a lot of memories of, but I don't really go back and play it all too often nowadays. And that's just because of how much better the later Mario Karts are compared to Mario Kart 64. I would say that both this game and the very first one, Super Mario Kart, have aged the worst in the franchise because every other game later past this have really, really good mechanics. I do like the course design of Mario Kart 64 and also the first game, Super Mario Kart, but I'd rather play those courses in later Mario Kart games just because of the overall mechanics, item balancing, and even in some cases, just a feature set. Like, I enjoy playing the N64 courses, for example, in games like Mario Kart Wii or Mario Kart 8 because of the difference in mechanics, items, and even online play. So I can play these games online with my friends and still experience a lot of my nostalgia with Mario Kart 64 by just playing the original courses. But playing the actual game itself, Mario Kart 64, it's kind of hard to go back to, unfortunately, just because of how much better the franchise got. Not to say this game is not fun to go back to, that's a reason why I'm making these videos on Mario Kart 64 in general. It's a very memorable game to me that I still enjoy popping in every once in a while, just to see how much the series has changed over the years and adapted. But at the same time, I play it for a couple hours in one day, then I realize, oh yeah, this is why I don't really play Mario Kart 64 too much nowadays, unfortunately. Because of the control being a little stiff, the item balancing being all over the place, mushrooms not being that powerful, and just later games becoming a lot better as a whole. But it really just shows how this game was a great foundation to build off of, because Mario Kart 64 was the very first Mario Kart game to support 4 players, and that is a huge deal for Mario Kart, as we see in later entries that that's just the standard going forward, while adding in even more players in the future with games like Mario Kart Wii, introducing 12 players, and Mario Kart World introducing up to 24 players in any given race. This game really encouraged multiplayer, and it showed because of just how good the multiplayer was in Mario Kart 64. One of the best multiplayer games on the console as a whole. It's a very, very memorable experience that is worth playing, even to this day. Maybe not terribly long, because you will want to play other games afterwards, but it's still worth going back and playing the original Mario Kart 64 to see just how much the series has evolved over the years. My god, that race was long. 5.5 minutes, and I took a shortcut in the middle of it. That says a lot. But we got first place here overall in the cup, making it Luigi is number 1, Peach taking second place, Toad at third place, and Wario taking fourth place. And that is our final Grand Prix in Mario Kart 64. Meaning now we have completed all 4 cups in the Grand Prix mode, and we took first place in all 4 of them. Pretty good job there if you ask me. And we did it with all these different characters too. 2 medium weight class characters, 1 lightweight, and 1 heavyweight. So everyone got some love here in Mario Kart 64. We didn't just pick the Toad or Yoshi main as most people do, but we did experiment with a lot of the different characters here, and it was a lot of fun. But now with all that said, give me my first place trophy, Cheep. I deserved it after how that cup went, because that was definitely our most chaotic cup out of the 4 Grand Prix. And we are number 1 as a whole, as that's 4 victories, 4 first place trophies, 4 golds to put on my shelf. That feels good.
Welcome to Mario Kart!
And by completing the final cup here in Mario Kart 64, we get ourselves our credits, concluding our time spent here in our second entry in the Mario Kart franchise. A very, very nostalgic game for me. I have a lot of memories playing this growing up with friends and family, and even years later just playing this online with things like emulation on PC or using the Switch Online service just to play a couple rounds of Mario Kart with friends. This game just holds a special place in my heart. Not my favorite by any means at all in this franchise, as it has aged pretty poorly with some of its mechanics, item sets, stuff like that, but it's still a revolutionary game for Mario Kart, as it did introduce 4-player multiplayer, which just became the norm going forward for local multiplayer with Mario Kart. And later on, with online being a thing, we got more and more players being added to Mario Kart, and it just makes this game a very fun party game. Anyone can easily pick up and play Mario Kart. It doesn't matter your skill level, as top level players, casual players, even people who've never played video games before. This is a game that's very easy to pick up and play, even to this day, and just have a fun time with. It's very chaotic with all the different items in the game, helping offset just player positions as a whole, And there's a lot of strategy that comes down in Mario Kart because of how the items work in general, so there's a lot you can do in Mario Kart. And I will say, even though this Mario Kart entry specifically has aged poorly because of just how much better later games became over time, it's still a really solid foundation, as these are some of my favorite courses in Mario Kart history specifically. And just seeing a lot of these courses come back in later games, getting improvements with later games, unique gimmicks and extra items and such. These are just fun courses just to play as a whole. It doesn't matter if you're playing the original version of this game's course design or later versions, retro remakes, essentially. Mario Kart 64 is a fun time and is definitely worth your time.
Hey, you very good. See you next time.
But that concludes our time racing in all the different Grand Prix Cups in Mario Kart 64. A very nostalgic trip back down memory lane for me, and hopefully a very enjoyable experience for you to watch at home. But with that said, that's going to do it for Mario Kart 64. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.